G'day guys, welcome back to StatChat Sports. You're here for the weekly AFL podcast and all four of us back on the chat. Myself, Josh, Tazza, Steve, and BT, back from a spell in the twos. Good to have you back from health and safety protocols, mate. You feeling all right?
Feeling perfect. Could not miss another one of these. Goody did a good job.
Yeah, shout out to Goody. Appreciate you jumping on the chat. We'll get you back on later in the year, particularly when Brizzy are up and about. Speaking of teams that are up and about, our regular segment to start the show, hits, misses, and hold fire. We're looking for a team that was a big hit this week. And Steve, heading straight over to you, who do you like?
Fellas, I think it's only fair we talk about the Gold Coast Suns this week.
Oh, yeah.
Big win for them in Sydney. Many think Sydney's going to finish in the top four. So to beat them is a big plus. They played well. They deserved to win. It wasn't like a scrappy win or anything like that. They led it quarter time, half time, and blew them out in the fourth quarter. So they really deserved the points. So yeah, good on them.
BT, I think it's important that we focus on the Suns here and how good the Suns were, as opposed to how poor Sydney was.
Gold Coast Suns dominated the whole game. Like Steve said, they led the whole game. They kicked the first goal and did not give up the lead at all. So they were very impressive. I think they won there last year as well. They like playing at the SCG. But to go on Sydney, I know a lot of people are saying they're top four, but you look at their recent results. They lost to the Doggies, just beat North Melbourne, came a big comeback win against Hawthorn, lost to Brisbane, and now lost to Gold Coast. So they're not really convincing.
Yeah, troubling times if you're a Swan supporter. You got to agree. In the middle was where the damage was done. The ruck contest, Sydney just got slaughtered. And Gold Coast midfield nucleus really coming into their own. No Noah Anderson, but Tazza still able to get the job done. They were plus 16 in contested possessions.
Yeah, when you got a guy like Tuke in the middle, he's just a workhorse. He's going to get it done every day, digging it out for him, and the work rate. The whole midfield just really works off his work rate, I think. He really leads that midfield by example. And yeah, it was quite a surprise with Anderson out, who's been one of probably their brightest light this year, and the way he stepped up. Yeah, a lot of guys through that midfield really stepped up.
Now, Steve, you are a man that is known for bold calls, and I'm going to put you on the spot here with this one. Gold Coast, are they a chance of playing finals? They've got a sort of tough draw heading into the bye here with Freo, the Bulldogs, Hawthorn, and North Melbourne. Do you give them a chance?
They're a definite chance against North Melbourne because they're probably not quite as bad as Eagles, but they're probably the second worst team in the comp at the moment. And given Hawthorn and the Doggies form at the moment, they've got a chance there. I won't say too much on Freo just yet because I'll get to that a bit later. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if finals calls a bit too much, but I think they can definitely pick up some points in those next four.
Yeah, look, I'm excited about the Suns. I'm not going as far to say finals yet, but there's certainly a chance, and they've really impressed us to start the season. Steve, nice call from you. I think a very worthy hit. BT, over to you. You are normally in charge of our miss segment this week.
I'm not going with a miss. After the results, it was pretty straightforward result this round, other than your Sydney. But we covered Gold Coast, the better team. It wasn't a Sydney loss. It was a Gold Coast win, that one. Then obviously you got your North Melbourne Eagles, who are just shithouse teams anyway. But so I'm going with Essendon as a win as well, as a hit.
Double hit.
8-goal double hit this week. We've changed it up. Essendon with their 8-goal last quarter to 1 to Hawthorn, massive comeback win. 2 meter Peter up there with Tom Lynch, Jazza Cameron as one of the best forwards in the comp. That was a crucial win for them. They had to win that, and they just came from nowhere. It was good to watch.
Hey, Tazza, how big is momentum this year? Because the swings are huge and teams are just getting on massive runs. I mean, the Bombers kicked the last 7 goals of this game. It was unreal.
Yeah, I didn't catch all of that game, but I remember, I think it was the last quarter, and they sort of just got in touch with them, and I'm thinking, oh, this could go down to the wire. And I remember tuning into the game right at the end, and I thought, what the hell just happened? They blitzed them, and Hawthorn's inability to run out games is going to kill them this season.
Yeah,
it just keeps happening, and it's a young team, it's a new system, it's going to happen, but it's bad.
Steve, BT touched on 2 meter Peter. He's our man. We love him. Sitting 4th in the Coleman at the moment. How about that wingspan? It's just such an advantage for him, isn't it? It's just hard to go with him.
Yeah, well, I mean, if someone's that tall, you've got an advantage. Look at Mason Cox. I mean, he's a giant, and all he's useful for is marking the ball. But at least 2 meter Peter's got a bit of end product about him. So being as tall as he is in a forward line has obviously got his perks. So yeah, that helps.
Speaking of 2 meter Peter, can we just talk about the tall forwards this year? We've got Tom Lynch killing it, Jazza Cameron, Hawkins, Charlie Curnow, Harry Mackay, 2 meter Peter, Max King. These guys are dominating this season. It's really good to watch. These key forwards actually do a good job.
Yeah, no, it's exciting to watch. I think we're going to have a very interesting Coleman race. Back to the goal kicking of old. I love it. One other note on Essendon, which they'd be really happy with, I think their pressure and their tackling was up in this game, and that was a big reason why they won. I think they had 15 more tackles than their season average in this game, so it really lifted that rating. They've got a tough run coming up to the bye. I'd be interested to see if they actually do get a win before the bye. We're talking Sydney away, Richmond, and then Port Adelaide away. So they're games where they're going to tell us a lot about Essendon. If they can pick up a couple of scalps in there, you go, yeah, okay, they might have something to say in the run home. But if they're coming through that stretch 0-3, maybe this was just a blip in the ocean of what Essendon potentially could have been this year. So, all right, finishing up with our final part of this segment, the hold fire. Tazza, who are we just reserving judgment on a little bit for this week?
Look, anytime you verse Melbourne, you're probably going to get dominated. You're going to get crushed. They're rolling this season. They seem to play two good quarters of football every game, and it's more than enough. So I'm looking at the Saints this week. Really expected a bit more from them. It seemed like this was probably Melbourne's first real decent test since probably what we thought were the good Bulldogs in round one. And they failed. I think they were 47 points down halfway through the second quarter. Whether Melbourne took their foot off the gas for the rest of the game or the Saints wrestled back some control, it's a bit up for judgment. But holding fire because they host Geelong at Marvel this week.
Huge game.
I think that, huge game. I think that really go a long way to seeing where Geelong and Saints are, because they're both sitting 5-3. They both really need a good scout. Geelong obviously losing to Freo the other week, and the Saints off the back of 2 losses now. They were sitting 5-1 and now 5-3. Really need to discover some form, and so I think we'll hold judgment for one more week and see what we come up with next week.
Geelong and St Kilda, we might touch on that a little bit later on in the episode when we talk our game of the week. No spoilers, just saying. It should be an absolute doozy. One thing I did want to note on St Kilda, and BT, you mentioned this with Max King, and he's been really good to start the season. Biggest problem is that the Saints are so reliant on him. When the Saints are winning, Maxi King's up and about. He's averaging 3.5 goals a game when they win. That drops down to 1.6 goals a game when they lose. So the difference is huge. If Maxi has a big game, the Saints will get it done. If teams can nullify his impact, that seems to be all she wrote for the Saints. So, yeah, really, really interesting to see if he can continue his form and if the Saints can continue to provide the footy to him and give him those opportunities.